Sit back, relax, and let Nana Rose take you on a journey. Have you ever heard a story so emotional it feels like something straight out of a movie? Well, today I'm going to tell you something that'll give you goosebumps. It's got a wild twist, a character who faced the impossible, and an ending no one saw coming. But be warned, the more you hear, the harder it is to stop. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because here, you'll find the most heartwarming, exciting, and surprising stories on the internet. Ready to dive into this adventure? Then come along with me, because what you're about to hear just might change the way you see the world.
The buzz of Times Square in New York City echoed like a distant hum in Evelyn's mind. At 28, the architect walked among the skyscrapers, each step a reflection of a past that haunted her. Her eyes, once vibrant, now carried the melancholy of a loss that time couldn't erase. 5 years had passed since the accident that separated her from Thomas, her childhood sweetheart, and the city that was once a stage for dreams now seemed like a labyrinth of memories of her former love. On the other side of the country, in a small California town, Thomas, now a 30-year-old history teacher, found solace in the calmness of the countryside. His classes, filled with narratives of the past, were a way to escape his own history, marked by Evelyn's absence. With each sunset, the longing intensified, like a ghost that pursued him, whispering the name of the woman he could never forget. Evelyn and Thomas, separated by tragedy, lived in opposite worlds, but united by an invisible bond, a love that time and distance couldn't extinguish. The silver necklace, with a heart-shaped pendant, that Evelyn wore daily, was the symbol of this love, a promise of a reunion that seemed impossible. An unexpected connection, a mutual wedding, would reignite the flame of a dormant hope, placing them on a path that would challenge the limits of fate. The past, once a prison, would become the gateway to an uncertain future, full of emotion and surprises. Evelyn, with her brown hair and expressive eyes, grew up in a family of artists in New York. From an early age, her passion for architecture led her to create innovative projects. But the loss of Thomas transformed her into a more reserved person. Her apartment, overlooking Central Park, was a reflection of her soul, an elegant space, but with touches of loneliness. Thomas, with his blue eyes and captivating smile, had always been a dreamer, passionate about history and sharing his knowledge with others. His childhood on a California farm taught him to value simplicity and the beauty of nature. After the tragedy, he took refuge in teaching, finding in the classroom a haven for his pain. His house, surrounded by trees and mountains, was a place of peace, but the absence of his beloved Evelyn left a void in his heart, a longing that seemed never to end. Evelyn and Thomas's relationship had always been intense and passionate, a love that was born in adolescence and that resisted time and distance. They complemented each other, like two halves of the same soul, sharing dreams and aspirations. The tragedy that separated them left deep scars on both, but the flame of this love never completely went out. They carried with them the memory of every happy moment, every kiss, every hug, like a treasure that time could not erase. Longing was a constant in their lives, a pain that accompanied them in every step, in every sigh. Destiny, however, had a surprise in store for them, a reunion that would change the course of their lives forever. The wedding of Evelyn's sister, Sarah, in a town near Thomas's, would be the stage for this reunion, an event that would defy the laws of time and distance. The proximity of Sarah's wedding, Evelyn's sister, intensified the anguish. A few days before the wedding, Evelyn received an anonymous letter that revealed a great secret. Thomas, previously presumed dead, had survived the accident, but had chosen silence. The truth, a devastating blow, left Evelyn confused and mixed hope and betrayal. Evelyn, torn between her current fiancé and the possibility of a resurrected love, saw her world crumble, while Thomas, tormented by guilt, hesitated to confront the past, a secret that could change everything. Evelyn, after the revelation of the letter, decided to go to Sarah's wedding with the aim of confronting Thomas and discovering the truth behind his silence. Her main barrier was the guilt of being engaged to Mark, a good man who loved her and who did not deserve to be deceived. The trip to California became a journey of self-discovery, where she needed to balance her love for the past with her responsibilities in the present. The fear of reliving the pain of loss and the uncertainty about Thomas's reaction haunted her at every step. Thomas, in turn, found himself in a dilemma. He wanted to meet Evelyn again, but the fear of hurting her again paralyzed him. His main motivation was to protect the heart of the woman he had always loved, even if it meant giving up his own happiness. The wedding of a mutual friend became an obstacle, an event that would force him to confront his past and deal with the consequences of his choices, and especially the guilt of having hidden the truth, and the uncertainty about the future consumed him every moment. Sarah's relationship with her fiancé, who was facing his own challenges, served as a mirror of the difficulties that Evelyn and Thomas were facing in their relationships. Sarah's story, with her own uncertainties, showed that love, in all its forms, is not always easy and can be a battlefield full of obstacles and challenges. Evelyn and Thomas's story changes completely when, on the eve of Sarah's wedding, a fire hits the country house where Thomas was staying. The news reaches Evelyn through a desperate call from Sarah, who informs her that Thomas is missing and that the firefighters have not yet been able to find him. The urgency of the situation hits her like a shock, causing her to abandon all her plans and embark on a race against time to find Thomas. The idea of losing Thomas again makes her desperate, and she decides that she can no longer stand still, waiting for fate to decide for her. That moment of crisis makes her realize that the love she feels for Thomas is stronger than any obstacle, stronger than any fear. That fire becomes the starting point for a journey that will lead her to confront her demons and fight for the love that she believed she had lost forever. Thomas, in turn, finds himself in the midst of chaos, struggling to survive amidst the flames. That moment of danger makes him realize that life is too short to hide from the truth, to deprive himself of happiness. He decides that, if he survives, he will no longer hide from Evelyn, that he will fight for the love he has always felt, that he will confess the secret he has kept for so long. The fire becomes a turning point, an opportunity for him to break free from the past and embrace the future. The news of the fire spread quickly, and Evelyn, moved by a mixture of panic and determination, arrived at the scene of the disaster, which was near the place where her sister's wedding would be. The chaos around her was palpable, with firefighters running from one side to the other and dense smoke hanging in the air. The uncertainty about Thomas's whereabouts consumed her, and she refused to believe that fate could be so cruel again. With every minute that passed, her anguish increased, and she felt powerless in the face of the situation. Meanwhile, Thomas, wounded and disoriented, struggled to escape the flames. He found himself trapped in a labyrinth of smoke and fire, with the hope of surviving fading with each passing moment. The image of Evelyn invaded his mind, and he clung to the memory of their love like a castaway clings to a piece of wood in the middle of a storm. He knew he had to survive, not only for himself but also for her, for the chance to finally meet again. Detective Miller appears in the story. He was in charge of investigating the cause of the fire, and his first findings indicated that the incident could have been criminal. This revelation cast doubt on the safety of Thomas and everyone involved, increasing the tension and mystery of the narrative. The detective, with his insight and determination, became an ally of Evelyn in her search for the truth. Detective Miller's investigation revealed that the anonymous letter Evelyn had received was just one part of a larger plot. An old rival of Thomas, a man named David, who had been humiliated by him in the past, was behind everything. The revelation of the rival's identity and his motives added a new layer of danger and suspense to the story. David, with his thirst for revenge, became a threat to Evelyn and Thomas, an obstacle they would need to overcome to finally be together. While Evelyn risked everything in search of Thomas, Detective Miller began to unravel the web of secrets and lies that surrounded Thomas's past. With each new discovery, the detective felt more involved in the story, and he realized that the truth was much more complex than he imagined. Thomas's past, which before seemed like just a love story, revealed itself as a labyrinth of intrigues and revenge, a battlefield where love and hate faced each other in a mortal struggle. The search for Thomas intensified, with Evelyn following clues left by him in an old diary. Each note led her to a new place, to a new challenge, and with each step taken, the hope of finding him alive was mixed with the fear that it was too late. The pursuit of David, Thomas's rival, became more relentless, with him determined to prevent Evelyn and Thomas from meeting again. The cat and mouse game became more dangerous, with both sides willing to do anything to achieve their goals. Meanwhile, Thomas, injured and weakened, managed to escape everyone, finding refuge in an isolated place in the forest. With each day that passed, his health worsened, and he felt weaker and weaker. However, his determination to survive and to meet Evelyn again kept him alive, and he refused to give up, even when the odds seemed minimal. That isolated place became his refuge, but also his prison, a place where he fought against time and against death. The relationship between Sarah and her fiancé also became complicated, with the pressure to get married and the uncertainty about the future putting their relationship at risk. The tension between them increased every day, and they found themselves in a dilemma, not knowing whether they should go ahead with the wedding or whether they should give up everything. Detective Miller, as he delved deeper into his investigation, discovered that David was not acting alone. An old partner of Thomas, a man named Robert, was involved in the plot, and he had his own reasons for wanting to take revenge on Thomas. The revelation of the partner's identity added a new layer of intrigue and suspense to the story. Robert, with his ambition and cruelty, became an even greater threat to Evelyn and Thomas, an obstacle they would need to overcome to finally be together. Evelyn, following the clues in Thomas's diary, found herself in the middle of a trap set by David. She was captured and taken to an isolated place, where she was confronted by her rival. The danger became more real, and she found herself in a life-or-death situation, not knowing if she would be able to escape. That moment of crisis made her realize that the love she felt for Thomas was stronger than any fear, stronger than any obstacle. While Evelyn faced her rival, Thomas, even injured and weakened, managed to send a message to Detective Miller, revealing his location. Time was running out, and the detective knew he had to act quickly to save Evelyn and Thomas. Detective Miller, after receiving Thomas's message, organized a rescue operation to save Evelyn and Thomas. The police team went to the indicated location, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city, where David was holding Evelyn hostage. The tension was palpable, and every second counted, with the lives of Evelyn and Thomas at stake. Meanwhile, Evelyn, trapped in the warehouse, refused to give in to fear. She knew she had to fight, not only for herself, but also for Thomas, for the love they shared. She remembered all the happy moments they had lived together, and this memory gave her the strength to resist. That moment of crisis made her realize that she was stronger than she imagined, that she was capable of overcoming any obstacle. Thomas, even injured and weakened, managed to make his way to the warehouse, determined to save Evelyn. He knew he couldn't leave her alone, that he needed to be by her side, no matter the danger. That moment of courage transformed him into a hero, a man willing to risk everything for love. His journey became proof of his loyalty and his passion. Thomas's arrival at the warehouse surprised David, who found himself at a disadvantage. The fight between the two rivals became inevitable, a final confrontation where love and hate would face each other in a mortal battle. That moment of tension became the climax of the story, a moment where the fate of everyone involved would be decided. The battle between Thomas and David became a mirror of the inner struggle that each one was waging in his heart. In the middle of the fight, Evelyn managed to break free and join Thomas in the battle against David. Together, they faced their rival, showing that love is a powerful force, capable of overcoming any obstacle. The union of Evelyn and Thomas became a symbol of hope, proof that true love always finds a way. That moment of partnership turned the battle into a victory, proof that together they were invincible. The fight ended with David's defeat, who was arrested by the police. The rescue operation was a success, and Evelyn and Thomas were finally safe. The danger had passed, but the scars of the battle would remain in their hearts. That moment of crisis transformed them, strengthened them, and united them even more. That reunion, which no one believed was possible, had finally happened. After the rescue, Evelyn and Thomas were taken to a hospital, where they received treatment for their injuries. The physical and emotional exhaustion was evident, but the joy of being together again was stronger than any pain. That moment of recovery became a prelude to the definitive reunion, a moment where they could finally surrender to the love they felt for each other. The hospital, once a place of pain, was transformed into a haven of hope. While they were recovering, Evelyn and Thomas had the opportunity to talk about everything that had happened. Thomas explained why he had hidden, revealing that after the accident, he had lost his memory and that when he recovered it, he had felt guilty for causing Evelyn so much pain. He confessed that he had never stopped loving her, and that the longing he felt was unbearable. That conversation became a moment of healing, where they could finally break free from the past and embrace the future. Detective Miller's investigation continued, and he discovered that Robert, Thomas's former partner, had planned the fire as a form of revenge. The relationship between Evelyn and Mark, her fiancé, also came to an end, with him realizing that she would never love him the way she loved Thomas. He said goodbye to Evelyn with sadness, but with the hope that she would be happy. Mark's decision became an act of love, proof that he had learned to accept reality. That moment of farewell became a relief for everyone involved. As they prepared for their final reunion, Evelyn and Thomas found themselves in a moment of reflection. They realized that the love they shared was stronger than any obstacle, stronger than any fear. They felt as if they were at the beginning of a new journey, a journey they would take together, hand in hand, with love and respect. That moment of preparation became a harbinger of a happy future. The police, with the evidence collected by Detective Miller, began a search for Robert, who had disappeared after the fire. The pursuit became relentless, with the police determined to bring him to justice. Meanwhile, Evelyn and Thomas, after being discharged from the hospital, met in an isolated place where they could finally be together. That moment of reunion was charged with emotion, with both surrendering to the love they felt for each other. Their embrace became a symbol of hope, proof that true love always finds a way. That moment of intimacy became a prelude to the future they would build together. Evelyn and Thomas's happiness, however, was interrupted by the arrival of Robert, who found them in their hiding place. The final confrontation between Thomas and Robert became inevitable, a moment where love and revenge would clash in a mortal battle. That moment of tension became the climax of the story, a moment where the fate of everyone involved would be decided. The encounter between Thomas and Robert became a mirror of the inner struggle each was waging in their heart. The fight between Thomas and Robert was intense, with both willing to do anything to achieve their goals. Evelyn, however, refused to stay out of it and joined Thomas in the battle against Robert. The union of Evelyn and Thomas became a powerful force, capable of overcoming any obstacle. That moment of partnership transformed the battle into a victory, proof that together they were invincible. The fight ended with Robert's defeat, and he was arrested by the police. The danger had passed, and Evelyn and Thomas were finally safe. That moment of victory became a relief for everyone involved. Robert's arrest became a symbol of justice, proof that evil does not prevail. With all obstacles overcome, Evelyn and Thomas found themselves facing a promising future. They decided to live together, building a new love story, a story that was not only based on the past, but also on the present and the future. They felt as if they were at the beginning of a new journey, a journey they would take together, hand in hand, with love and respect. That moment of hope became a harbinger of a happy future. Sarah's story also found its resolution when she decided to call off her wedding and follow her own path. She realized that she could not marry out of obligation, that she needed to find her own happiness. Her decision, although painful, became an act of liberation, proof that she had learned from the mistakes of the past. That moment of self-discovery became an example of courage and determination. Evelyn and Thomas, finally free from all obstacles, decided to get married in a simple and intimate ceremony, surrounded by their friends and family. The wedding, filled with emotion and meaning, became the realization of a dream, proof that true love always finds a way. That moment of union became a symbol of hope, a promise of a happy future. The past, with its pain and losses, became a distant memory, a chapter they had overcome together. The present, with its joys and challenges, became the stage for a new love story, a story they would build together, hand in hand, with love and respect. The future, with its uncertainties and possibilities, became a horizon of hope, a path they would walk together, with the certainty that love always prevails. And now, I invite you to reflect on your own story. How many times have you believed that love was impossible? How many times have you given up fighting for your dreams? Remember the story of Evelyn and Thomas and never lose hope. True love always finds a way, even when everything seems lost. The story of Evelyn and Thomas teaches us that love is a powerful force, capable of overcoming any obstacle, capable of transforming any pain into joy. May this story serve as an inspiration for you to never give up fighting for love, for happiness, for life. May you follow your heart and never lose faith. Years passed, and Evelyn and Thomas built a life together, full of love, happiness, and complicity. They moved to a house in the countryside, surrounded by nature, where they raised their children, passing on to them the values of honesty, courage, and hope. That place became a haven of peace, a sanctuary where they could live their love to the fullest. Their story became an inspiration to everyone who knew them. Evelyn continued to work as an architect, creating innovative and inspiring projects that reflected her passion for beauty and harmony. She became a reference in her area, admired for her creativity and determination. Her work became a way to express her love for life, a way to share her vision of a better world. Her story became an example of success and overcoming. Thomas, in turn, continued to teach history, passing on his knowledge and passion to his students. He became an inspiring teacher, capable of awakening young people's interest in the past and the present. His work became a way to honor the memory of his ancestors, a way to build a better future. His story became an example of dedication and commitment. The story of Evelyn and Thomas teaches us that true love is capable of overcoming any obstacle, of transforming any pain into joy, of building a happy future. Their story shows us that life is a journey full of challenges, but that, with courage, hope, and love, we can achieve our dreams. Their story became an example that love is the most powerful force in the world. And now, I invite you to carry this story in your heart. Remember that true love exists, that happiness is possible, that hope should never die. Don't give up fighting for your dreams. Don't give up loving. Don't give up living. May the story of Evelyn and Thomas serve as an inspiration for you to follow your heart and never lose faith. And so ends the story of Evelyn and Thomas, a reunion that no one believed was possible, a love that resisted all obstacles, a love that lasted forever. May this story inspire you to believe in the power of love and to never give up on your dreams.